Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Jason Williams, and I'm with my tag team partner, Blake Castetter. And we are the Sunday Funday guys, another Sunday six-pack edition on another college football Saturday. We're getting down to the last couple weeks of college football season. I'm not happy about that, buddy. I'm not happy about that. This is when I started getting a little sentimental because I know it's coming to an end.
Did you
Yeah.
by chance see the Xavier St. X Elder game last night?
Yeah, I did. And when I saw it, it was 27-7, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Elder's gonna whoop them." And then I
Yeah,
saw
same.
the, I saw the final score. I was like, "It's high school football thing, man. It's crazy."
And then Dave Portnoy was down there, and
Yeah, yeah. For those of you who are, well, most of you probably are in Cincinnati, but if you're not, it's just like any other place in Ohio. Football is king in Cincinnati. So they moved the game from a local high school, actually right up the street from me, Mason High School, to Paycor Stadium. And they had what, 25,000 people at
mm-hmm.
this high school football game. So high school football has always been a big deal in Ohio, and it was very evident last night. For those folks who had never been to an event like that, it's an experience. It's really an experience. It's
They had
cool.
to move it because 7,000 tickets. They sold out the game before the students were able to buy tickets.
Exactly. Yep. So
So
those
they
are
had to come
like,
up with another plan. And
yep.
Mason kind of got the shaft because think about all that revenue they missed out on.
Oh
Not
yeah.
only that, but they dropped a
Concessions.
boatload of money on food
Yep.
to
Yeah.
prepare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me. I'm here, and people are not. Well, there's some people that are none so happy, but nonetheless, a great high school football game. Congrats to St. X and obviously Elder. They had a great season as well. But man, high school football is alive and well in Ohio for sure.
Now let's get on to some lines we like.
Yes, let's do it.
The Sunday six pack.
Ooh, all right.
So we'll stay in Ohio. We'll stay at Paycor Stadium with my
Ooh,
first
look at
pick.
that. You did that on purpose, didn't you?
I did not, but it did transition well, didn't it?
We're getting pretty good at this.
Chase Brown over 4.5 receptions. Uh, the Patriots are very stingy on defense, especially against the run. So I don't like his rushing yards this week. If anything, I think his line was 59.5. I would take the under on that.
Yep.
But over the past few weeks, the Bengals really have gotten Chase Brown involved on the receiving side of things. 6 receptions last week against Pitt, or 2 weeks ago against Pitt, last week against Pitt, 8 receptions and on 14 targets 2 weeks ago against Chicago.
That's wide receiver numbers.
Yeah, and that's
Big time.
high-end wide receiver
I was
numbers.
going to say big time wide receiver numbers. Yes.
So while the Patriots' run defense is solid, they are actually allowing a league-high average of 5.7 receptions per game to running backs.
Good
So
nugget.
Bengals are using him. Weakness for the Patriots. Seems like the perfect storm. I'll take the over 4.5 receptions.
Man, that's a good number. A good nugget, buddy. At what is that? Minus 132?
Minus 132 on DraftKings.
All right. All right. Chase Brown. There you have it.
And the line was 5.5.
Oh, so it's gone down.
So it's
Interesting.
moved. And I'm not sure why. Maybe 5.5 was too rich. But 4.5's that sweet spot.
Maybe they thought Joe was playing.
Maybe they thought Joe was playing, but he is not.
He is not. As of what, an hour ago, that has been announced. Yep, Joe Burrow will not be playing this week. The likelihood is he will be back next Thursday against the Ravens in Baltimore. So there you have it. My first bet is Drake May. I'm going to stick with the Cincinnati Patriots game. Drake May over 256 passing yards and minus 114. If you look at any of the fantasy pundits this week in terms of rankings, he is the number one quarterback, and it's probably not even close. We've already highlighted, Blake, the Bengals' horrible defense. So we're not going to go into those guys. We've talked about them ad nauseum. We're going to focus on Drake May in this particular segment. Drake May has failed to throw for over 250 yards only twice in the last 8 contests. He has failed to have a QB rating below 100 only twice this year. So he's had a QB rating over 100 for most of the year. And he has failed to throw 2 or more touchdowns only twice this year. So what I'm saying is he's been hot, and he's been consistent, and he's going against a historically bad D. I think it's a big day for Drake May. I would even consider upping this on FanDuel to over 275 yards passing at plus 138. So I'm taking Drake May over 256 at minus 114 this week.
Would you ladder it to 300?
Whoo.
One full unit at 256.
Yeah.
3/4 of a unit at 275 and half a unit. So 10, 5, 250.
I just think they're going to be able to run the ball too.
So do I.
think it's going to be it's really going to be a good buy. I think they get 130 yards rushing, and I think they get 275 passing. If I had to say,
If
275.
Flacco can throw the ball with
Right.
any success,
Right.
and put just like the Lions-Giants game,
Sure.
if the Bengals can keep up, May might put 350 on us.
That's true.
He
That's
might.
true. That's true. Yeah.
And Henderson and Stevenson might combine for 200.
That may happen. That might be an interesting wager. Both over 100 yards. Very interesting.
Oh, that could happen.
Right.
That only takes 2 carries for Henderson. All right, line number 2 that I like. My second pick of our Sunday 6-pack. Darnell Mooney over 3.5 receptions at negative 157. Now, I don't like the line. The money's not there at negative 157, but 3.5 receptions as the line itself, I'll take that all day. Over the past 2 weeks, he's averaged 7.5 targets with Drake London. This week, he's wide receiver 1 with London missing. OC Zach Robinson was on record saying he expects plenty of targets to come for Mooney this week. Pair that with a bottom 15 Saints pass defense. I don't know how the yards are going to pan out. I wasn't comfortable with that. I think the line is 47.5, but I will take 3.5 catches.
This is Mooney. You weren't really sold on in terms of production, but you think this is a pretty good.
He's wide receiver 1 against the bottom 15 pass defense.
Yeah. Why
4
not?
catches.
Right?
It could be 4 catches for 10 yards. I don't know what Cousins is going to look like, but
nobody knows what Cousins is going to look like. I would err on
50% of the balls.
I would err on the side of caution when it comes to Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Jekyll and Hyde player, always has been. Okay, I mean I think that's very much doable, like quickly doable, depending on the how the game goes for Mr. Mooney. My second bet is a very interesting one. I'm going Jared Goff 3+ touchdowns this week against the Giants. Now, Jared might have played his worst game of his career, Blake, against Philly in terms of completing percentage standpoint. Goff is leading the league in completion percentage at close to 70%. Last week against the Eagles, his completion percentage was 37.8. As I like to say, Mr. Goff was seeing ghosts on Monday night. I don't know what he was doing, but it was bad, really bad. This week, he gets to redeem himself against the Giants. And as Blake mentioned in the previous episode, the Giants D is awful, allowing third most fantasy points to QBs, 22nd in pass yards allowed, averaging 225.2 yards a game, tied for second to last in takeaways, and allowing 27.3 points per game, for fourth most. I know 3 touchdowns is a lot, and the game script might not lead itself to a lot of passing, but we know what the Lions do after a loss. 11 straight wins with a point differential of 16.7 plus 16.7. Exactly. Which means they blow out teams, which is why I'm expecting Goff to have a big game.
So do you like them covering 10.5?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Because if
There's
you look at the
line we like.
Yeah, because if you look at the last game they lost, they came back and blew out the Commanders, I think it was. Yes. Because I think they lost to Minnesota, came back. That game was in Washington. They blew the doors off the Commanders. I'm expecting the same thing. And this game's at home, and we know how Jared plays at home. Big difference. Yep. Jared Goff, 3+ touchdowns at plus 174. Makes a little bit of cash.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I like the over 1.5, and I think it was almost even money.
Yeah.
But I'll take a flyer on 3+.
Yeah, it is a flyer. I mean,
he could throw for 4
or 5.
All right, my final pick of our Sunday 6-pack, Travis Kelce over 57.5 receiving yards. So everyone said Kelce was old. He wasn't performing anymore. In reality, he's done pretty well these past handful of weeks.
Yep.
The Chiefs can't get the run game going. They can't. Patrick Mahomes is their leading rusher.
Amazing.
Unreal. And Pacheco's out again. On the Colts side, good defense, right? except against tight ends. Might be their biggest. It is their biggest and maybe their only weakness. They've allowed the third highest average of receiving yards to the tight end position at an average of 72.6 receiving yards per game. Kelce has had 54 or more receiving yards in his last 6, averaging during that span 74.8. Last week, he had 13 targets and 91 yards against Denver's tough defense. And they're not weak against the tight end position. No. So it looks like they're getting Kelce back to being more involved. 57.5 seems like a safe number to play this week.
And this could coincide with Rashid Rice coming back, because now you got Worthy and Rice. Yep. So I think the focus is on the receivers and
opening up the middle.
Open up the middle. Yep, I agree with you. 13 targets for 91 yards against Denver. Wow, that's impressive. The irony is, if we're talking about Indy's defense in their lack or their inability to cover the tight end, we kind of have to go back to their defensive coordinator, Lou.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Bengals. So there's always some correlation. But anyway, I like Kelce. I like Kelce a lot this week. So I like that over 57.5 yards.
I didn't look at the tight end touchdown for any time, but that might not be a bad play either.
It could be. I would imagine it's maybe on the plus side.
It's definitely on the plus side.
Yeah. My last bet this week on the Sunday 6-pack edition of Sunday Funday Guys Fantasy Football Podcast is Kyren Williams over 61.5 rushing yards and an anytime touchdown score at plus 151. Kyren has been on fire the last 3 games, averaging well over 100 yards and has 4 touchdowns in that 3-game span. The Rams get Tampa Bay and Baker at home this week. Surprisingly, Blake, the Bucs defense is ranked 10th in the league, giving up an average of 100 yards per game. But there's a catch to that, Blake. You want to know what that stat is? You want to know what that is? You're a stat guy, right? Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Against strong rushing teams, now again, quote unquote, strong rushing teams, the Lions and the Patriots, they have given up 164 yards, meaning the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and 166 yards. So these two teams. And we know, as much as the Rams like to pass, Sean McVay likes to run the ball. And even though their offense ranks 18th in rushing, they do average 27 rushes a game. And who's getting all those rushes? Primarily Kyren Williams. You might Blake Corum may get a handful, whatever. So with that being said, I think Kyren goes over 61.5 rushing yards and scores a touchdown as well at plus 151. It's kind of a double dip on a 6-pack bet.
So is that plus 151 combined?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
Sorry. Yep. Plus 151 combined. Yep.
All right. You want to touch on your college bet of the week? Were you 5-2 this year? 5-2 against the spread?
That's not bad, man. I might have to call ESPN or somebody. Like, listen, you got the wrong guy doing this thing. But I'm excited about this one. So last week, 5-2 over the year. Last week, I called Georgia's blowout over Texas. We saw that one coming. That was not a surprise at all. But this week, I'm going out west to the wild, wild west, Blake. Number 15, USC is at number 7, Oregon, and the Oregon Ducks are a 9.5-point favorite at this point. It's another top 20 matchup this week. And again, it's number 15, USC heads north to Eugene to face Oregon in a huge Big Ten. Yes, folks, I said Big Ten tilt. I am still not used to that. It's always been the Pac-10 to me, and it will always be that. I'm a little bit old school, but it is what it is. Conference realignment, money has changed everything. Lots of stats to get into, so I'll make it quick. First, for the Trojans, USC is 2-2 away from home this season. Both losses to ranked teams, Illinois and Blake's team, Notre Dame. They also lost all 3 of their road games last year against ranked opponents. So keep that in mind. The game is at Oregon. One more thing, the Trojans have not won in Eugene since 2011, Blake. What were you doing in 2011? Can you remember? You're an old guy now. You might not know what you were doing in 2011. Now, Oregon, on the other hand, has been rolling ever since they lost to Indiana at home, outscoring teams 137-46 during this winning streak. Here's bottom line. Here's the key to the game. USC's offense versus Oregon's defense. The Trojans have the 6th best offense in the country, while the Ducks only allow 235 yards per game, 3rd in the nation. So something has to give. Lastly, Oregon is 9-3 versus ranked teams in the last 3 seasons, tied with Arizona State for the second best in FBS. A little stat for USC. USC is 3-11 against the spread on the road the last 3 seasons, worse in FBS. So, with all that being said, folks, I've given you everything you needed to know, and I am picking, drum roll, the Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks to cover 9.5 points this week against the Trojans. Go Ducks. Huge. That's a big spread.
Especially for 2 top 25 teams.
Yes. So some Vegas
2 top 15 teams.
The last time there was a big spread, it was UC Utah. We know how that went.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking Oregon is. I think Oregon. The last time they had a big time matchup, they lost to Illinois 30-20. Indiana. I think they remember that. And if USC doesn't get going early, it could be an interesting game in terms of a blowout. So I'm going with the Ducks to cover the 9.5 point spread. There we go. We got some other lines. Look at you. You put some stuff out there, buddy.
I found more than a handful of lines that I like.
You did.
And some of them are deep. Some of them are a little bit risky, like Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah.
At what point have we ever bet on Adonai Mitchell? We've not.
Nope.
But I like him over 32.5 receiving yards this week. Last week alone, he had 6 targets. Most of them were uncatchable. Couple drops, ended up with 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Change to Tyrod. I think he's going to get more accuracy and more catchable balls. All he needs is 2 or 3 catches to break 32.5 yards.
Correct.
Kayshon Boutte is back, and his line is low. Over 30.5 receiving yards against the Bengals. Before his injury, he was picking up steam with Drake May. I don't know if you remember. 75, 55, 93, and 43 receiving yards.
Touchdown passes, catches too.
And touchdown catches, right.
Yep.
I get the offense has changed a little bit since his last 2 weeks he's been out, or 3 weeks he's been out. With Henderson now rolling, Diggs performing better, Mac Hollins is involved, but 30.5 seems low. He was doing all those numbers that I gave you on 2 to 4 receptions.
Right.
I still think he gets his 2 to 4 receptions and can break. I mean, again, 4 receptions for 93 yards. He doesn't need much to get 30.5. The other line that I did like that you already touched on was Drake May over my DraftKings is 254.5.
All right.
So it feels like a layup to me. This QB's on fire. Going against the bottom 2 defense in the Bengals. He's covered 220 against a variety of defenses in his last 7 games.
Yep.
That's not 254, but he's covered 220. So he's throwing the ball around left and right.
Exactly.
This matchup against the overall league's worst defense, like we talked about, he might put 275, he might put 3, he might put 350, depending how the game goes.
Exactly.
I will probably ladder that up to 350 just for the heck of it.
Ooh, I like your style. Love it.
Some anytime touchdowns that I found that I like. I will be A-okay with either and or Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker this week. Tennessee's run defense is just a hair better than Cincinnati's. So they might both score.
Right.
They might both score. There might be 3 or 4 touchdowns on the ground. Trey McBride. This one seems obvious. This is like 2 years ago, Christian McCaffrey. You just keep going. Jacoby Brissett's favorite target without question. He's averaging 11.5 targets per game. The Jags defense prior to last week against the Chargers, over the past 6 games, had allowed 39 receptions, 467 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Trey McBride will get his this week.
For sure.
Devontae Adams, anytime touchdown. Do you know he's averaging 2.4 red zone targets per game?
I do.
That's insane.
I have him on my team. He had 1 catch for a
1
touchdown.
1 yard, 1 touchdown.
1 catch. Yeah. Crazy. I'm like, what kind of stat line is that? Anyway.
He leads the Rams in touchdowns with 11.
Yep.
So I like that those odds. Jamison Williams, ever since that transition to your boy being the play caller, he's been way more involved. And I think that's one of the things that I'm drawing a blank. Come on, help me out here.
MCDC?
Dan
Campbell?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's one of the things he didn't like about the play calling. because he loves Jameson Williams.
Always
He's been very upfront and open in public about how much he loves J-Mo.
Right.
So he scored a touchdown his past 3 games and 4 in his last 5. He gets the Giants this week, and I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to score. Pair him with 2-3+ with Goff.
Yep.
Not bad.
One more little tidbit on that before you keep going. Sam Laporta is out for the year.
Yes.
That's a huge deal. That means more 3 wide receiver sets. That means less tight end sets. It means more opportunities for all those wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The obvious, Travion Henderson against Cincinnati. The not so obvious. Do you look for patterns, Jason?
I do.
Like in stats, and are you superstitious at all? Because I am.
I'm a little bit superstitious. Continue.
And I was flipping through things.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Algier has scored a touchdown every other week this year.
Exactly.
He scored in week 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This 12. Is week 12.
Right.
Give me a Tyler Algier touchdown this week. I don't care who it's against. I don't care if he's a backup or not. Give me a touchdown for Tyler Algier.
You know how I know? Because I got Bijan Robinson. I don't have Tyler Algier, which is most people are the same boat.
Then here's my flyer. If you listen to our fantasy episode, you know I like Mitchell Tinsley this week. You could throw a couple bucks on an anytime touchdown. He is plus 600.
600.
He's over 1,000 for the first touchdown.
Ooh, that's tempting.
And I don't know what 2 touchdowns look like, but
$1.
This is $1 to win 6. Here we go.
Yeah.
But I do like Mitchell Tinsley at plus 600 anytime touchdown. If you're willing to put a little
up
your feet to the fire a little bit, yeah,
up to Andy. 10, $15. Have at it. Lates.
We got a couple. Again, Mitchell Tinsley. Take a flyer if you need a flex spot filled. I like Mitchell Tinsley this week. And Kayshon Boutte. He's back from injury. He might be on waivers. He's on waivers in multiple leagues that I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Could be. My late is Jaden Higgins is the one who's the wide receiver for Houston. Now I know Houston played Thursday, but last 3 games, 7 targets, 9 targets. And that's with full complement of receivers. So something tells me, when Nico's there, everybody's there. He's finally kind of rounded into form and the quarterbacks trust him. So what that means to me is an opportunity to get more points. And here's a question I'm going to pose. Would you rather have him or A.J. Brown at this point?
Is the throat goat the quarterback or is C.J. Stroud? Did you hear that Houston's fans have appointed him the throat goat?
The throat goat. I did. That's.
Could you imagine coming out? He was a high prospect. They drafted him to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
He did well enough to get them a high round pick his first rookie year. They took Stroud.
Yep.
He does well. He sits on the bench until Stroud gets hurt. They're 3-6 or 6-3 or they're 3-6 something to that effect. And he comes in, he plays so well that now he's the starter. And the fans then announce him the throat goat. It sounds like something coming straight out of Brazzers or Pornhub.
Exactly. I didn't think we were going to go there, but we just went there, so it's all good. But you're right. So, nonetheless, Jaden Higgins is a late, and you could tie the lates in with whatever you want to with those comments. We can go really off kilter, but we're not doing that. We're going to stay on track. So Mitchell Tinsley, Kayshon Boutte, and Jaden Higgins are lates for this upcoming week. And we remember last week we hit on we talked about Sean Tucker. He's got one more week.
And Chris Rodriguez.
And Chris Rodriguez. And then, Bucky Irvin comes back. But Chris Rodriguez, long term, is probably 1.5. I think Sean Tucker this week, not sure how it's going to shake out when Bucky Irvin comes back. But nonetheless, listen to us on the lates. We kind of know what we're talking about, folks. Blake, anything else, my man?
If you got any last minute advice you need, hop on our Facebook page. It's Fantasy Football Advice.
Yeah, we just answered a question from, was it Christy Jackson? Yes, she had a question for us, and we got it on there. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to log on and see what we're doing on our Fantasy Football Advice page. With that being said, folks, that's all I have. That's all you have?
Yep.
All right. There you have it, Fanatics. Our Sunday six-pack edition for week number 12 already. Good luck and have yourselves a great Sunday fun day. Sunday fun day, guys. Out. All right. What else did she say? Oh, that was it. What you got going on today?
Hey, Jason, we're still live, sir.